researchers, scholars, and students. Let me also specially recognize the director of the African Union Education Unit, industry leaders, partners, and stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I welcome you all on behalf of the Association of African Universities, AAU, to this grand celebration of 10 years of the African Higher Education Centers of Excellence ACE program. This event marks not only a milestone in our collective efforts to transform African higher education landscape, but also a moment of reflection, celebration, and renewed commitment to the future of Africa. Since its launch in 2014, the ACE program has grown from a bold idea into the largest regional initiative to strengthen African higher education. Spearheaded by the World Bank and implemented in partnership with the government of 20 African countries, the French Development Agency, and with facilitator support from the Association of African Universities and the Inter-University Council of East Africa, IUCA, the ACE program was born out of the recognition that for Africa to truly develop, our universities must be equipped to produce highly skilled graduates to generate research relevant to Africa's needs and drive innovation that addresses Africa's challenges, thus training Africans in Africa for Africa. Over the last decade, we at the AAU have supported more than 50 centers of excellence across 35 universities in West and Central Africa, including Djibouti. These centers have been trailblazers, producing over 10,000 graduate students, including more than 3,500 PhDs. Notably, over 1/3 of these students are women, a significant step towards achieving gender equity in science-related and other traditionally male-dominated fields. Our ACEs have generated more than 300 industry partnerships, secured millions of dollars in externally funded research grants, and have contributed cutting-edge solutions to present societal challenges, from tracking infectious diseases and building resilient agricultural systems to powering digital economics and strengthening our climate change adaptation. I think they've done greatly within these past 10 years. This achievement reflects the enormous potentials that lies within African higher education sector, and they reaffirm our belief that when we invest in our universities, we are investing in the future of our continent. Ladies and gentlemen, the ACE program has become a shining example of regional collaboration and ownership. It has fostered a culture of shared learning, mobility, and innovation across borders, a true African solution to Africa's challenges. This success would not have been possible without the unwavering commitment of our partners, the World Bank, AFD, IUCA, and the dedicated governments and institutions across the participating countries. I wish to extend our deepest appreciation to each one of you for your vision, your trust, and your support in these past 10 years. To have center leaders, faculty, and students, you are really the heart of ACE program. Your passion, resilience, and dedication have turned ambition into action. You have redefined Africa's universities, and you have shown the world what African universities can achieve. As we celebrate the past 10 years and prepare towards project closure in June, we must also cast our eyes to the future. The next decade offers even greater promise, and I believe that. And we must build on the solid foundation that we have laid already. We envision a future where African universities are not only regionally competitive, but globally recognized as hubs of excellence, innovation, and transformation. I can see a future ahead of us where our institutions are better funded, better governed, and better equipped to serve our societies. This requires sustained investment from governments, the private sector, and the development partners. It also demands that we continue to strengthen partnership, deepen regional integration, and harness research and innovation to drive impact. The ACE program has shown us what is possible when we work together with a shared vision and purpose. As we commemorate ACE at 10, let us reaffirm our commitment to placing higher education at the centers of Africa's development. Let us continue to empower our youths with the skills, knowledge, and opportunities they need to lead and innovate. To all our media partners present here today, we invite you to join us in amplifying this story that is going to be told across Africa. Stories of success, and to help us spread the word of how African higher education is rising to meeting the challenges of Africa. As the regional facilitating unit, the AAU is committed to providing continuous support, coordination, and capacity building to ensure the successful completion of the ACE program. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to extend a warm invitation to you all to participate in the 16th General Conference of the Association of African Universities, which will be held in Rabat, Morocco, from July 21 to July 25th, 2025. This year's conference will be held under the timely and compelling theme of shaping the future of higher education for innovation and sustainable development of Africa. The General Conference is the AAU's flagship gathering and one of the most influential higher education platforms on the continent today. It brings together university leaders, policymakers, researchers, students, development partners, and private sector to engage in high-level dialogue on the transformative role of higher education in driving Africa's development agenda. For more information, please kindly visit the AAU website and the AAU booth in this particular conference. I want to thank you all for your presence with us in Ghana, Accra, Ghana today, and for your partnership, and on your unwavering support for this game-changing ACE initiative. Congratulations to all our ACEs, and congratulations to all of us. Thank you for listening.
Another round of applause for Professor Oyewole. And now, ladies and gentlemen, sharing some welcome remarks, please warmly welcome Professor Gaspard Banya-Kimbona, Executive Secretary, Inter-University Council for East Africa, otherwise known as IUCEA. Please welcome the professor.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony, Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished Secretary General, Permanent Secretary, Principal Secretaries, Ministry of Higher Education, the Secretary General, Association of African Universities, distinguished Directors of Higher Education, here present, respected Vice Chancellor and rectors, universities and colleges, our valued development partners here present, chairperson and members of the regional steering committees of AC project, colleagues from the World Bank here present, dedicated center leaders, staff of IUCA and Association of African Universities, distinguished delegate, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed, a very good morning to you. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished participants, it's a great honor to stand before you today to speak about the African Centers of Excellence initiative and its positive impact on higher education across our continent. My name is Gaspard Banyangibona. As the moderator said, I'm the Executive Secretary, Inter-University Council for East Africa. This important initiative has not only raised the standard in education and research in Africa, but has been a key driver of Africa's progress by improving teaching facilities, generating new knowledge, encouraging innovation, and fostering collaboration and partnerships. Through our focus on improving access and equity, the African Centers of Excellence, at least from the Eastern and Southern Africa, where I'm more informed, has been a great success. Over the last 10 years, the African Centers of Excellence have enrolled over 28,000 students, including nearly 1,000 of graduate programs. There has also been an impressive 82% increase in female students joining postgraduate programs, with more than 10,000 being women participating in total. Additionally, student movement between countries has grown, and we have a country which plays a role model, that is Kenya, with 28% increase in inward mobility. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The Center of Excellence have supported over 3,600 exchange for faculty and PhD students, promoting important research and teaching partnerships, both regionally and internationally. In terms of quality and employability, the African Centers of Excellence has made significant strides. We have secured national accreditation for 310 programs and 37 internationally accredited innovative programs. We have also developed 8 joint academic programs with global universities. And as of today, a tracer study shows that 80.8% of graduates believe their studies have helped them in their current jobs. The African Centers of Excellence are also playing key role in shaping national policies through research. I'm going to give some examples. The Center of Excellence for Innovation, Drug Development in Ethiopia helped shape the country's primary healthcare clinical guidelines. Example number 2, the Africa Centers of Excellence in Public Health and Herbal Medicine, Malawi, influenced the policy on traditional and complementary medicine. The African Centers of Excellence in Agroecology in Uganda contributed to the national policy on organic agriculture. The Water Infrastructure and Sustainable Energy Futures Center in Nelson Mandela Institution for Science, African Institution for Science and Technology in Tanzania took part in the review of Tanzania national water policy, just to mention a few. Regarding innovation and economic diversification, the centers have established, we have established 4 incubation centers, which resulted in 237 registered startups, 60 launched product, and the creation of around 2,000 direct and 45,000 indirect jobs. In terms of regional capacity building and public health security, the centers of excellence have played a key role. The Africa Center of Excellence for Infectious Disease and Human and Animal enhanced Zambia's diagnostic capacity during the COVID-19 and anthrax outbreak, while SACID played a vital role in diagnosing the Marburg virus in Tanzania. Our efforts have also led to significant community empowerment and social impact. The Center of Excellence for Innovation, Drug Development, and Therapeutic Trials for Africa's research improved outcome for over 2,500 lymphedema patients, and the Center of Excellence for Innovative Rodent Pest Management and Biosensor Technology Development, trap technology, which benefited over 3,100 rice farmers in Tanzania. Furthermore, the African Centers of Excellence are addressing critical agriculture advancement and food security challenges, as evidenced in Kenya by the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Agriculture and Agribusiness Management, Aflatoxin Laboratory, and the African Center of Excellence in Sustainable Use of Insect as Food and Feeds Promotion of Insect-Based Food. Key achievements also include financial sustainability, whereby the centers have mobilized around 47.2 million in external revenue, and the research facility development, where the center has established the Insect Repository Open Laboratory at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University in Kenya. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished participants, we acknowledge the challenges encountered in this process. One of them is differing national policies, restrictive immigration policies, which hinders mobility, language barriers, delays in international accreditation, and disparities in incubation ecosystem maturity. We also recognize the need for improved translation of research into real-world impact and strong university oversight system. Despite these challenges, the Center of Excellence initiative's impact is undeniable. We are building a stronger, more resilient, and prosperous Africa through enhanced higher education, creating a generation of leaders of tomorrow. Your Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, distinguished guests. The African Centers of Excellence initiative demonstrates the transformative power of investing in higher education. As we look forward, we are appealing to you today to sustain and expand your commitment to the African Centers of Excellence initiative, to champion policies that facilitate regional integration in higher education, to prioritize investment in research, innovation, infrastructure development in higher education and research, and to foster strong partnerships between universities, government, the private sector, and the development partners. As I conclude, the Center of Excellence, the African Center of Excellence program marks the beginning of a long journey towards Africa's self-reliance. Let us ensure that our higher education institutions are globally and remain globally competitive. On our behalf, as Inter-University Council for East Africa, the regional facilitation unit for East and Southern Africa, I express my deep gratitude to all our partners, the World Bank, the government, and our stakeholders here present. Your commitment has made this success possible. Thank you very much for your continued support. Let us work together to make the next decade even more impactful. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Minister for Education of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Honorable Ministers of Finance and Education from participating ACE countries, Professor Olusola Oyewale, Secretary General, Association of African Universities, the Executive Secretary, Inter-University Council for East Africa, delegation from the Africa Union, the Regional Vice President for Western and Central Africa, the World Bank, senior officials from the World Bank and the French Development Agency, representatives of development partners, vice chancellors and managers of universities and institutions of higher education, center leaders and staff of the African Centers of Excellence, private sector representatives, invited guests, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the heart of Accra, the capital city of Ghana. I extend an even warm welcome, particularly to those of you visiting Ghana for the first time. If there are people like that, I don't know where you've been all of this while. Mais je vous souhaite la bienvenue à tous. I say Akwaba, Maraba, Karibu. It is an honor to address this distinguished gathering of policymakers, university leaders, development partners, and key stakeholders at this high-level forum celebrating the 10th anniversary of the African Higher Education Centers of Excellence, the ACE. Your presence here affirms your conviction of the power of research for global transformation and a commitment to higher education and innovation in Africa. Reflecting on the past decade, it's been an incredible and remarkable journey, and indeed, a decade of impact, innovation, and excellence. And I would like to thank the organizers for the opportunity to share some perspectives on the vision for higher education for Africa and the journey so far, 10 years of ACE. In the next few minutes, I would like us all to reflect on a decade of the establishment of the African Centers of Excellence, and more importantly, strategize for a more impactful decade ahead. Now, setting the context, why was the establishment of the African Centers of Excellence necessary? A decade ago, African governments, together with leaders of higher education on the continent, identified that the region was faced with a critical gap. Limited access to high-quality postgraduate education, underinvestment in research, poor linkages between universities, industries, and communities, imported solutions to address Africa's challenges. It was against this background that the bold and visionary idea of the establishment of the African Centers of Excellence emerged. The focus was on nurturing centers of excellence in specialized fields that could transform African countries' ability to address local challenges and contribute to global scientific and technological advancement. The idea appeared simple, yet profound. The intention was to create institutions that will serve as beacons of innovation, collaboration, and knowledge transfer, harnessing the immense potential of Africa's intellectual capital. To develop African-grown solutions by African scientists to address Africa's development challenges, and support advanced studies in science, technology, and mathematics-related disciplines as a critical aspect of Africa's economic transformation. Launched in 2014, the ACE initiative is a collaborative effort by African governments, supported by the World Bank and other funding institutions, with a conviction that Africa can and must drive global development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today it is evident that the ACE project is a working model which is achieving strong results on the ground and supporting Africa's jobs and economic transformation agenda. Now, where are we now? We can see on the map where we are. We have more than 80 Africa Centers of Excellence in over 50 participating universities with a presence in 20 countries. Now, what have we achieved and what impact have we made over the past decade? We can talk about postgraduate expansion in critical fields. The ACE has enrolled over 90,000 students across Africa, including close to 8,000 PhDs and over 30,000 masters. We've heard about the increase in female researchers and scientists. So currently about a third, that's 32% of all students enrolled at ACES are female, as a result of a deliberate attempt to increase female enrollment. And we've been benchmarking globally. 130 programs have obtained international accreditation, including programs in poultry science, crop seed science and technology, molecular cell biology of infectious diseases, and water supply and treatment technology. We can also talk about improved linkages with industries and communities. There exist stronger collaborations among the centers, industries, and communities. The teaching and learning environment has improved. Infrastructural facilities, including laboratories and teaching and learning equipment and technologies in host institutions, have been upgraded to world-class standards. And we can also mention cross-border collaboration. A key aspect of the ACES is partnership and collaboration within the region and globally, fostering greater impact. And I think that it is significant that this program has allowed for more collaboration among African institutions. We can also talk about the development impact. So beyond statistics, the ACE have directly improved people's lives, developing solutions and innovations that are tailored to Africa's and global challenges. So mentioning a few of these, in Ghana and Nigeria, genomics researchers played a key role in sequencing the COVID-19 and Ebola genomes, contributing to global efforts to combat these pandemics. In Ghana and Kenya, agricultural biotechnology breakthroughs have led to the development of improved seeds, enhancing food security and the resilience of agricultural systems to environmental challenges. In Senegal, cutting-edge medical training programs now enable complex surgeries, reducing reliance on overseas treatments and improving access to specialized care. In Nigeria, Senegal, and Rwanda, the integration of artificial intelligence is preparing a new generation of professionals for the jobs of the future. In Tanzania, they've developed a digital surveillance tool that allows health workers and others to serve as disease detectives. And in Kenya, the incubation center at Moi University has successfully commercialized economic ways to generate energy and produce building materials from waste products. Honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ghana hosts the second highest number of African centers of excellence, as we saw on the map. So kindly permit me to highlight these flagship research centers and their contributions to the country, the region, and the world at large. Can talk about the Africa Center of Excellence for Coastal Resilience at the University of Cape Coast, with the mandate to train young African scientists and professionals capable of developing integrated solutions to address coastal degradation in coastal countries on the continent. We can also mention the West African Center for Water, Irrigation, and Sustainable Agriculture at the University of Development Studies. And this center undertakes cutting-edge research and training in irrigation, drainage, water resources management, sustainable agriculture, climate change, environmental sustainability, and food and nutrition security. I'd also like to mention the Regional Center for Energy and Environmental Sustainability at the University of Energy and Natural Resources. And this center provides quality research and postgraduate training in energy and environmental sustainability. At the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, there are two centers. The Regional Transport Training and Research Center, TREC, and that's a leading hub for advancing applied research knowledge, developing and adapting innovative technologies, and technology transfer in transport, mobility, and integrated logistics. We can also mention KEEP, the KNUST Engineering Education Project, which is to contribute to Ghana and the sub-region's industrial and digital revolution through excellence in engineering, education, and research, and innovation to serve industry and society. All of these centers have contributed significantly to graduate training, particularly at the PhD levels. And they have engaged the communities and industries, created internship opportunities, and also significantly raised additional funding for the work of these centers. There are three African Centers of Excellence at the University of Ghana, and I would like to focus a bit on these. We can talk about the West Africa Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens, which seeks to improve the diagnosis, prevention, and control of tropical diseases in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, what are some of the things that it has done? It successfully sequenced genomes of SARS-CoV-2, that's a COVID-19 virus, and also tracked mutations of the virus, leading to the discovery of new variants in respective host countries and the continent. We're also proud of the establishment of Yamachi Biotechnology, which is funded by Dr. Yaobedi Akon, a WACBIP faculty member. The flagship company aims to become Africa's biggest cancer biotech company. And also to mention that WACBIP has enrolled 422 students, including 114 females and 93 students from the region. Their publications are out there for all to see, and they have raised over 78 million in additional revenue for the work of the center. Finally, the center also offers for usage by others its scientific technology platforms and high-end equipment, and they do have a few of these. Now to the West Africa Center for Crop Improvement, WACI. WACI trains plant breeders in Africa and is working on the improvement of African crops in local environment for farmers. They have done a lot of training. They have graduated 120 PhDs and a number of master's students. And it is significant to note that these are from 15 African countries. Their faculty members and their students have published over 260 publications in high-impact journals. And the center also established the Kofi Annan Enterprise Hub for Agricultural Innovation. They have developed improved variety that's high-yielding and pest-resistant variety of crops, including tomatoes, rice, cassava, groundnuts, cowpeas, and maize. We see some of these there on the screen. And these are some of the very hardworking faculty that we have there and the innovative work that they are doing. The last, yes, it's okay to applaud them. Yes. The last center that I would mention is the West African Genetic Medicine Center, WAGMIG. And WAGMIG is dedicated to genetic research, postgraduate training, and community outreach. In 2022, it launched the Ghana Genome Project, which is to engage key traditional leaders and media outlets across the country on a major public education and health screening focused on genetic disorders. And it undertook the first population DNA sequencing project in Ghana and in sub-Saharan Africa. So far, 675 children with sickle cell disease are having their entire genome sequenced. And this, I'm told, is the first of such studies in Africa and among the first in the world. WAGMIG has developed and is offering the first graduate training program in genetic counseling in sub-Saharan Africa, which is internationally accredited. And there's also developed short courses in genomics, which they have already run in Ghana and Nigeria. Now, why is all of this important? Research, as we know, plays a crucial role in development across various sectors of an economy, providing evidence-based insights that informs policies, drive innovation, social change, capacity building, and generally improves the quality of life. Research contributes to global and national development by providing critical insights which fuel economic growth through innovation, helping to create jobs and improve productivity. We know of countries like South Korea, Germany, Singapore, the United States, Brazil, and China, which have leveraged on research to develop their economies. We will not go into all the comparative figures, but just to mention that Africa contributes around 2 to 3% with increasing efforts in health and agriculture research. According to the 2021 UNESCO Science Report, Africa contributes 2.4% of global researchers, 2.6% of global scientific output, 0.45% of GDP is spent on research and development. Honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I believe that it is clear that if we want to contribute significantly to the global agenda on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and perhaps more importantly on the Africa Union's Agenda 2063, then these questions are critical. How much effort does Africa invest in research at the continental, national, and institutional levels? Do we put our money where our mouth lies? Are we using science to build the future we want? So what's the way forward? In order to sustain and scale up the impact of research in addressing regional and global issues, there's the need for partnerships and collaboration, and that's the ACE DNA. No single university, ministry, or country can achieve this transformation alone. Recognizing the global knowledge economy's increasing importance, there is the need for cross-border collaboration involving global institutions and the private sector as well. It's important for us to attract and retain top-tier global researchers. There's a need to create a conducive environment and institute measures that would attract and retain the bright talent being developed on the continent. And I've seen this happen at the University of Ghana with the ACEs, being able to attract people out there in the diaspora because they know that when they come to these centers, they would have the needed resources that they require to work with as scientists. And last, but certainly most important, there is the need for political will, domestic financing, and policy support from African governments to enable the centers of excellence operate at its optimum. And not only that, but to replicate these successful models that we have seen. So, honorable ministers of education and finance across the continent herein gathered, I have an appeal to make. We as Africans must begin to put our money where our mouth lies. With recent developments in the West, it is becoming abundantly clear that we cannot continue to rely on external support. Maybe this is the impetus that we need to make those bold decisions and commit to funding research and innovation on the continent. It is clear that we have the human resource and we need to be able to facilitate their work by putting in the required financial and other resources. We must, as a matter of agency, plan and make sufficient budgetary allocations. 0.45% of GDP towards research is certainly wholly inadequate. So we must plan and make the sufficient budgetary allocations towards research and innovation to spur the desired growth and development on the continent. As I conclude, I would like to reiterate the need to leverage on the research outcomes of the ACEs to address global and continental challenges in areas such as energy, health systems, agriculture, digital development, and other priority sectors. As Vice Chancellor of the leading university in Ghana, I advocate that universities and research institutions must be considered as key players in national and global economies. I end by reiterating the question asked by the 2021 UNESCO Science Report. Are we using science to build the future we want? I believe these few thoughts will set the tone for an even deeper reflection during the subsequent plenary and other sessions as we strive towards a more impactful decade ahead, a decade of boundless opportunities, I believe. Thank you. Nagode. Merci beaucoup, mesdames et messieurs.
Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Mr. Osmanu Diagana, Regional Vice President for Western and Central Africa, World Bank, and the entire World Bank team accompanying and supporting him at this auspicious occasion. I wish that I could address every other minister by name, but very distinguished ministers of finance, ministers of education gathered here, and representatives of ministers, vice chancellors, researchers, heads of institutions, heads of regulatory authorities, or I should simply say, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me, on my own behalf, I see Robert from our country office of the World Bank. Mr. President, we are honored to have several African ministers of state gathered here at this ACE conference. Mr. President, one of my first discomfort is ACE. When they say ACE, African Center of Excellence, but the first bell that rings my mind is the other ACE of a disease ACE. So probably into the next decade or foreseeable future, the emphasis should be on higher education center for excellence to distinguish our ACE from the disease ACE, the President. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, you have missed a very important segment, understandably, because of your tight role this morning to see the change of flag at the office of the President. But our keynote speaker was one of our own proud Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, who made us proud to share Ghana's exploits and Ghana's benefits. She also shared some of the challenges, more financing from government and political will. The man who holds the political will of our republic is the President of the Republic. So I'm conveying to you politely, Professor Nana Bamfo, that the President is all ears. He's already given you the assurance and the assurance of many heads of our institutions that he has no intention to interfere with the academic freedom of our universities and will work to enhance the academic freedom of our universities. And to Mr. Ousmane Diagana, so Mr. President, it's my honor and privilege to welcome you to the 10th anniversary of the ACE celebration. We are proudly honored with your presence. We know with some passion and determination, you are striving to reset Ghana and reset its education space. And to Mr. Ousmane Diagana of the World Bank, a warm welcome and akwaba to you, karibu to you to Accra. Enjoy the Ghanaian hospitality of Accra. If you do have time with some of our distinguished delegates, it will be worth visiting Kwame Nkrumah Museum so that you would appreciate our culture, our cuisines, and others better. To our Honorable Minister from Malawi, even though the President didn't have the full benefit of your presentation, he had instructed me that you should be given 1 minute each to wrap up so that he could pick some guide. But Anita, thank you for being a firm master of ceremony. You have assured us of the Afro-optimism as one of the benefits of ACE. So, Mr. President, my task today is a very simple one, is to welcome you and other distinguished delegation to the African Center for Excellence 10 years anniversary. 10 years of monumental contribution to higher education and to research. And Mr. President, having listened to the panelists, my charge on your behalf to Ghanaian universities and researchers is that in the next 4 years to a decade, President Mahama would want to see Ghanaian University do something with traditional medicine as your contribution to the development of health and medicine in Ghana and taking advantage of what we heard from the example in Uganda of what they've done with traditional medicine with support. And whilst welcoming the Vice President of the World Bank, like Oliver Twist, Mr. President wants to see infrastructure development, even though he's guided by what is now called a Trumpism. He knows that he has to look within Ghana to rule and govern in good governance to make our country self-dependable and self-sufficient. But we still, Mr. Vice President, whilst the President is here, The President in the next fortnight will be launching a major sanitary pads initiative to support young girls who suffer absenteeism as a result of their inability and their parents to afford it. Some support from your fund to support this initiative will be worth acknowledging. So as I said, is to say a warm welcome to you all and to encourage that we narrow ourselves probably, whilst I say welcome, that probably we should look at a new center of excellence that focuses on foundational learning in Africa. So the next ACE intervention can look at the remit of foundational learning. There are still some national poverties around Africa, and particularly in Ghana, in terms of some inadequacies with literacy and numeracy, and some research in that area will be worth looking at. And one of the major things dear to the heart of our President Mahama, is youth empowerment and youth development. So maybe ACE and the World Bank can look into an Africa Center of Excellence in youth empowerment and youth development to support addressing growing unemployment, including graduate unemployment. On the note of welcoming you, let me assure you of President Mahama's committed to higher education and research. This year, for the first time, he would operationalize the operation of a national research fund, to which he has dedicated some $5 million for its start. And then I also heard about domestic scholarships. The president has further directed that every public university in Ghana this year will have dedicated funding from the Ghana Education Trust Fund to support 5 PhDs locally in order to build faculties. On that note, Mr. President, I say a warm welcome, and to Osmanu and our distinguished delegation, our respected ministers for finance and education from the ACE benefiting countries, Akwaba and Marhaba to Accra. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now with pleasure that we demonstrate to you the story of ACE at 10. We would like you to look at some of our project highlights and, of course, our achievements. Please take a look at the screens in the wings.
Over the past decade, a transformation is unfolding across Africa, one powered by knowledge, innovation, technology transfer, and reshaping higher education, all driven by African government's recognition of a growing shortage of highly skilled professionals in critical development areas and their request for a regional approach to address the challenge.
Africa higher education is confronted with several challenges. Funding for research to drive the innovation that we need on the continent, infrastructure to promote teaching and research and improve teaching and learning environment is a very big challenge. Human capacity deficit in terms of the scientific capacity and also administrative and technical capacities. But now, things have changed.
The transformation began in 2014 with the launch of the Africa Higher Education Centers of Excellence program, or ACE, fueled with a bold ambition to shaping the next generation of scientists, engineers, and problem solvers, empowering them to transform knowledge into real-world solutions for Africa's economic growth. With support from the World Bank and the French Development Agency, the initiative has grown to 80 centers in more than 50 universities across 20 countries. The ACEs are distinguished by their regional specialization, taking advantage of economies of scale, fostering collaboration among universities, and bringing students from various countries together to research on specific regional issues.
because of the high incidence of malaria in Africa and in sub-Saharan African countries, there's a need to actually address the problem of insecticide resistance in malaria vector. So that's basically what I'm focusing on to reduce high malaria burden in Nigeria and also overcome insecticide resistance in Nigeria.
Ces types d'innovation, c'est pour initier les étudiants au prototypage, à la robotique et à l'intelligence artificielle et à l'électronique de base. Nous avons aussi acquis une voiture qui a toute l'électronique de base qu'on peut retrouver dans une voiture normale, même s'il n'y a pas la mécanique. Et ça permet aux étudiants de voir comment sont conçus les systèmes, les dispositifs électroniques qui contrôlent par exemple la pression des pneus ou les capteurs sur la pression des pneus ou de gérer l'allumage des lampes, voilà, les feux de radar.
The ACE program is not just producing graduates, it is empowering African scientists to lead Africa's transformation. The impact is on the whole continent and beyond. For instance, Togo has significantly reduced its dependence on imported poultry feed thanks to CESA's cost-effective high-quality feed concentrate derived from black soldier fly larvae. In Ghana, KEEP is revolutionizing sustainable energy storage by converting taro peels, once discarded as bio-waste, into affordable high-performance batteries. Research by Farm Biotrack in Uganda, ACE in Nigeria, and WACBIP in Ghana have substantially contributed to managing viral infections and sequencing the genomes of critical pathogens like Ebola, Lassa fever, coronavirus, and malaria, supplying crucial data that informs government decisions in many countries. Marki in Uganda has developed high-yielding sorghum and cowpea varieties alongside innovative horticultural crops that boost yields and increase farmer incomes, while 280 improved disease-resilient crop varieties developed by Waki in Ghana have enabled over 1 million farmers across 10 countries in Africa to significantly boost their productivity. The results achieved over the past decade are remarkable. The ACEs have transformed postgraduate education, training over 90,000 students, including 7,600 doctoral and 30,000 master's students and over 52,000 professional short course students. About 33% of these graduates are women, breaking barriers in science and technology.
I went to school many years ago where very few female in the medical profession. Right now, in Bayreuth University, Kano, we're almost 50% females. I was the first female gynecologist from my state, and right now we have over 15 female gynecologists that we all trained from our center. So there is a real paradigm shift in terms of the involvement of female in medical education.
Research production has flourished with over 10,000 publications in peer-reviewed journals and almost $184 million raised in external funding, strengthening sustainability. More than 18,000 industry internships link training and research directly to Africa's job market. About 620 programs were nationally accredited, while 133 others were internationally accredited, raising academic standards. An important feature of the ACE program is the collaboration and exchange among the countries across the region. But the journey is far from over. Africa's growth and competitiveness will depend on its ability to produce world-class scientists, innovators, and entrepreneurs. The ACE program has set a strong foundation. Together, government, universities, industries, and development partners must strengthen their collaboration and sustain this momentum to shape the future of research and innovation across the continent. Africa has the potential, and its transformation must continue.
Watch me for a second. Our hand ticks in sync with time. Our hand ticks in sync with time. Time when past meets present and meets vision. So when I envisioned Africa's education, I wasn't overly ambitious. That wasn't an irony, because today our vision meets victory. A decade ago was a cadence of ambivalence, a crescendo of what if Africa's education can bring forth something great? What if we could build castles of knowledge so we will never have to relearn what we learn already? This quest sowed a dream right in this soil, left with hope. Hoping from lowlands to highlands, nurturing minds that refine and incline to the plane of the future, theta, alpha, beta, better for Africa. A decade of passion, a cadence of action, a refrain of attraction, a decade dedicated to creating a world-class universities all around. This is an assignment for us to take home and work on as one of our assignments, because this isn't just a course. This is a great sign of the contribution to the sciences, a bold act of our contribution to the arts, a dedication that can never be left to decay, not any day after this decade. African Higher Education Centers of Excellence. You aced it. From 22 centers that dare to leave to over 80 today, I can't even believe it. The camaraderie of scholars, right from the core, you broke records, broke boundaries, became groundbreakers, breaking ceilings, breaking barriers. Come on, these are tons of breakthroughs. Yet, you had difficulties. You had difficulties. The human resources and technologies that you needed so you could go up, rise higher, so you could raise higher African education, even higher in Africa and the world. 10,000 papers. These are not just ink on a page, but blueprints to shape a gauge of African stage higher in Africa. She rose higher and brought education at the forefront of the world. At the forefront of the world. I'm not talking about north, south, east, and west, but I'm talking about you nurturing education in Africa. You raising the system higher. You making things easy for us. You made things very easy in Africa because you threw light into the exact education we are looking up to. You raise higher, and we are standing on the branches that live in parts, and a thick root that's deep-rooted in excellence, an upright, thick root that's deeply rooted in excellence, STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM, deeply rooted in excellence. And today we are very proud of you. We are proud of the mind refined and inclined to the plane of the future. We are proud of you. I mean, when I see Africa's education today, I see the sight and excitement. When I see Africa's education today, I see the sight with excitement. And now in our imaginations, we are not just going to imagine nations with great education, because we see it, we see excellent education, we see transformation, and we say congratulations, ACE, for acing it. Congratulations.
Well done, Albert. Thank you so much for your play on words. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me much pleasure to move into our high-level remarks. With respect, kindly, immediately after His Excellency's speech, I would humbly ask you, Your Excellency, to remain on stage while we take a few photos before we bid you farewell. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without everything said, the Regional Vice President for Western and Central Africa World Bank will indeed be the icing on the cake. Please formally welcome Mr. Ousmane Diagana.
I have been impressed by our brother, the young student who shared with us a formidable journey of ACE since its inception about a decade ago. Your Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Drisu, Minister of Education of Ghana, dear Higher Education and Finance Minister from across Africa, dear Mrs. Ashipala, Head of Education at the African Union, dear colleagues from the World Bank, chers amis de l'Agence française de développement, dear development partners, distinguished University Vice Chancellor, professors and members of the academia from across Africa, distinguished members of the industry sector and civil society, dear leaders and representatives of the Africa Higher Education Center of Excellence, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I was in Accra 3 months ago to be part of and witness the celebration of the inauguration of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, and in doing so, also be part of the celebration of Ghana democracy. Today, I'm back to join you to celebrate another event, the 10th anniversary of the Africa Higher Education Center of Excellence Program, the ACE. Democracy and higher education are interlinked. Democracy cannot survive and allow people to feel the importance of this type of regime if it doesn't create equal opportunity for all citizens in terms of having access to job and to live their aspiration. Higher education cannot thrive without visionary leaders selected by their people and who put education at the center of their development agenda. ACE stems from a vision that is shared by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, a vision that he carries, a vision that he embodies. Indeed, about 11 years ago, when we launched the ACE, Your Excellency was holding the same position as of the one that he holds today. And at that time, when we had the opportunity to engage with African leaders about this initiative, he expressed his unique enthusiasm and support to ACE. The rest is history. Your Excellency, we are very honored to have you here today. Your leadership and vision have positioned Ghana as trailblazer in this crucial program that count 9 ACAs hosted in university in Accra, Cape Coast, Sunyani, and Kumasi, which are performing all very well. Your support, Mr. President, also emphasized your country's dedication to fostering world-class education across Africa. Thank you most sincerely for hosting us in Ghana and to mark this important milestone of the ACE program. I would also like to express my gratitude to the events organizer team from the Association of African Universities, the entire University Council of East Africa, obviously my friends and colleagues of the World Bank staff, and mes amis de l'Agence française de développement for their tireless effort in making this celebration a success. Thank you all for your hard work to make this happen. Indeed, education is a cornerstone of development, and higher education is critical to equipping individuals with the knowledge, skills, and innovation needed to drive economic transformation and growth, to tackle societal challenges, and contribute to global progress. The World Bank has been established exactly to support a country to achieve these goals. Thus, it was with great anticipation that we worked together to prepare and launch the ACA program in 2014. Since then, the program has made remarkable strides, growing from 22 centers in 7 countries with an initial investment of 150 million to over 80 centers in 50 universities across 20 countries, with a total investment of $657 million US from the World Bank, and also a co-financing of about 72 million from the French Development Agency. The ACE program has proven to be a strategic investment that has fundamentally transformed higher education, fostering research and innovation, while positioning Africa as a global player in priority sector. Today, it's a great pleasure to see the ACE community here, representing the over 90,000 students trained since 2014, including 7,650 PhDs and 30,200 MScs. The ACS has therefore contributed more than 10,350 peer-reviewed research publications, facilitating nearly 18,000 internships, and have achieved about 30% female enrollment in science. Moreover, they have generated over 183 million US dollars in external funding, ensuring their sustainability. They have met global benchmark with over 130 programs internationally accredited, and 600 programs nationally accredited. Investment in state-of-the-art facilities and cutting-edge laboratories have enabled high-quality training in crucial fields such as health, agriculture, engineering, and digital technology, all critical for job creation and sustainable growth, reducing the need for young Africans to study abroad, and therefore also contribute to limit the drained brain that has indeed been a challenge for Africa for many, many, many years. The ACEs have leveraged regional approaches, providing cross-border academic opportunities, economies of scale, and industry partnerships that are essential for developing Africa workforce and advancing pioneering research. Their impact is already being felt in critical sectors. For instance, in Nigeria, Redeemers University has led high-quality genomics research, playing a key role in sequencing the Ebola and COVID-19 genomes. In Ghana and Kenya, agricultural biotechnology advancement have resulted in the development of improved crop varieties with enhanced resilience to disease, pests, and environmental challenges. In Burkina Faso, one of the ACEs is pioneering research on controlling mosquito population by altering their reproductive capabilities, an innovative approach that has gained international recognition and was featured in the Netflix documentary, What's Next? In Rwanda and Senegal, the integration of artificial intelligence and Internet of Things into curricula is preparing a new generation of professionals for the job of the future. There are innovation also in the energy sector. A Rwandan innovator and entrepreneur who is in an ICE alumni has developed a device that automates the transition between solar power and the national electricity grid, facilitating the efficient use of solar energy in urban areas. The incubation center at Moi University in Kenya is supporting all the innovation for economical and efficient energy generation. These are just few examples among many others of the ACA program's real-life impact, proving that the Center of Excellence indelibly represents a solid pathway to impactful and sustainable development. As we mark this important milestone, let us all give them a warm round of applause for their remarkable achievement. We must also recognize the effort of governments, universities, and development and industry partners who have been instrumental in this success. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, the global development challenges we face today, with a confluence of interconnected crises ranging from environmental challenges, health pandemic, to economic instability and geopolitical tension, call for strategic investment and innovative solutions with human capital development at the forefront. Particularly in fields like STEM, health, agriculture, and the environment, equipping your youth with job-relevant skills is essential to addressing Africa's pressing regional challenges. Our regional education strategy for Western and Central Africa aims to significantly increase enrollment in tertiary education and expand access to skill training to prepare the next generation for a rapidly evolving economy. Without combining regional and national effort, Africa's economic transformation will be slow. Investing, therefore, in relevant and regional higher education and applied research system has the potential to help lift more individuals out of poverty and drive economic development across nations. The ACE program has laid the foundation for a knowledge-driven economy powered by African talent, research, and solution. We must double our effort to continue the transformation they have started. I'm personally excited and confident about the next step and the continued impact we can make together. Let's continue to empower Africa's bright minds to learn, lead, innovate, and drive our continent transformation from within. Thank you so very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ousmane Diagana. And just before I invite His Excellency, the President, to come on stage, a quick acknowledgement of the ministers here joining us. The Minister of National Education and Scientific Research, Republic of Burundi, Honorable Francois Heyermana. Please give him a round of applause. The Minister of Education and Culture, Mozambique, Honorable Dr. Samaraya Tovela. A round of applause, please. Minister of State for Higher Education, Minister of Education and Sports, Republic of Uganda, Honorable John Muyingo. Minister of Higher Education, Democratic Republic of Congo, the Honorable Professor Safi Sombo Ayan. State Minister for Education, Culture and Higher Education, Federal Republic of Somalia, Honorable Noura Mukhtar. Minister of Education, Republic of Malawi, Honorable Dr. Jesse Kabwira. Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Tertiary Education, Innovation and Technology Development, Zimbabwe, Simbanda, pardon me. Honorable Professor Seydou Mamadou, Minister of Higher Education, Research and Technological Innovation of Niger. From the Gambia, Honorable Professor Pierre Gomez, Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. Minister of Finance, Niger, Honorable Moumouni Boubacar Saïdou. Minister of Finance, Gambia, Honorable CDK M. Keita. Ministre de l'Enseignement supérieur, de la Recherche scientifique et de l'Innovation, Conakry, Guinée, Monsieur Alpha Bakar Bari. Monsieur Mourama Souma, ministre de l'Économie et des Finances, Conakry, Guinée. Ministre de l'Enseignement supérieur et de la Recherche, Togo, Honorable Kanka Malik Nachbacha. Your Excellency, these are the ministers who have made time to be in this wonderful city, this wonderful country of ours. And with that said, as established, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding while we warmly welcome to the podium the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Mesdames et Messieurs, le Président de la République du Ghana, Son Excellence John Dramani Mahama.
Welcome, everybody. Please resume your seats. the Regional Vice President of West and Central Africa of the World Bank, our friend and brother, Mr. Osman Diangana, and I'm happy we are visiting Ghana many more times in such a short time. The Honorable Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, his Deputy Minister, Clement Apak, Ministers of Education and Finance from sister countries, Permanent Secretaries and Chief Directors of Education and Finance, Vice Chancellors from numerous universities, researchers and stakeholders from the education sector, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pride and deep appreciation that I welcome you all to Accra to commemorate this important milestone, the 10th anniversary of the African Centers of Excellence program, ACE. This celebration marks a decade of transformative progress, partnerships, and groundbreaking achievements in higher education, scientific research, and regional collaboration across our continent. The ACE program has emerged as a model of distinction, fostering innovation, nurturing world-class expertise, and strengthening institutional capacities in critical sectors such as health, agriculture, engineering, and the applied sciences. Its transformative journey is a powerful testament to what can be achieved through collaboration in higher education. With over 80 centers across more than 20 countries, the ACE initiative has demonstrated that when nations, institutions, and development partners come together, the impact can be exponential. From advancing cutting-edge research in infectious diseases and renewable energy to drive innovation in agriculture and digital technology, ACE has become a beacon of regional integration and cooperation. Its results-based approach, linking funding to tangible outcomes, has not only elevated academic standards, but also driven institutional reforms, attracted global partnerships, and expanded opportunities for tens of thousands of postgraduate students across Africa. ACE has made universities more relevant to the communities in which they are situated. Through shared thematic networks, inter-university mobility, and academic industry partnership, the ACE initiative has facilitated joint research, co-created curricula, and fostered innovation ecosystems that would have been difficult to build in isolation. By leveraging economies of scale and promoting peer learning, this collaborative framework has enhanced regional capacity while directly responding to national development priorities. The ACE journey is a reminder that the future of higher education in Africa, and indeed globally, does not lie in working alone. It lies in uniting our efforts to unlock talent, to transfer knowledge, and build a resilient, skilled work task force that is ready to drive sustainable development across the African continent. Ghana has been privileged to host some of the most impactful centers of excellence under the ACE program, and I'm sure these have been spoken about. Among them is our West African Center for Crop Improvement, WACCI, which has become a key player in enhancing agricultural productivity across our region. It focuses on improving crop varieties and empowering local farmers through advanced training in crop improvement, and has made significant strides in our collective effort to address food security in our sub-region. The center has also produced numerous highly trained graduates who are now leaders in agricultural research, positively impacting food systems in Ghana and across the broader West African sub-region. We also have the West Africa Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens, and that's a longer acronym, WACCBIP, which has also emerged as a beacon of scientific research and innovation in the health sector. With a focus on infectious diseases, this center has contributed immensely to the study and diagnosis of pathogens that affect millions of people across Africa. The center's achievements include training a diverse pool of scientists who have played a pivotal role in advancing diagnostic tools and therapeutic methods, especially in the fight against emerging diseases. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, the center's role in research and testing was invaluable, further cementing its place as a leading health research institution. And I remember meeting the Vice Chancellor for the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Abahamfo, who was lamenting the loss of funding because the United States of America had pulled their USAID funding. And I assured her that we'll make it up in our own budget. And I'm happy that the Minister of Finance fully provided for the $156 million that was pulled out to be able to allow the critical research that they're undertaking to go ahead. Ghana also boasts of hosting the West African Genetic Medicine Center, which stands out as a pioneer in genetic research and counseling services. As the first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa, WAGMC has made remarkable progress in tackling genetic health issues, such as sickle cell disease, through innovative diagnostic methods and personalized care. Its efforts in promoting genetic testing and awareness has been transformative, particularly in Ghana, where genetic health challenges are of major concern. These centers have not only fostered cutting-edge research and innovation, but have also trained a new generation of African scientists, positioning Africa as a key contributor to academic research and research advancement. It is important that these remarkable achievements and the increasing potentials of these institutions across the continent are sustained. Sustainability is a shared responsibility, and as the African Centers of Excellence enter their second decade, there's a growing commitment to building strong foundations for long-term impact. While continued donor support remains a vital part of this journey, we also recognize that we must accelerate efforts to complement such funding. With increased national investments, we must put in more money ourselves into these centers of excellence. Institutional resource mobilization and stronger linkages with industry. Indeed, our innovation in these ACE centers must be aimed at having tangible impact on the communities we serve. There's the urgent need for innovation in urban planning, in handling plastic pollution, organic farming and fertilizers, and so many other urgent challenges facing us. By aligning academic work with national and regional development goals, and by fostering innovative-driven partnerships, we can properly position the centers to remain vibrant and impactful well into our future. Our partners have been and will continue to be instrumental in shaping this progress, not only through funding, but through collaboration, capacity building, and strategic alliances. The future prospects for the ACE program are very bright. The demand for research-led solutions, skilled professionals, and regionally relevant innovations continue to grow across the continent. The ACEs are uniquely placed to meet this demand, serving as hubs of excellence that can drive socioeconomic transformation. With sustained support from governments, donors, and the private sector, these centers can scale up their impact, can deepen regional cooperation, and lead Africa's charge towards a knowledge-based future. Ghana stands ready to work with all our partners, old and new, to ensure that the next decade of the ACE program delivers even greater results for our people and our continent. Our continued collaboration in scientific research remains central to addressing some of our continent's most urgent developmental challenges, from skills gaps in emerging industries, high graduate unemployment, limited digital literacy, to high capital costs in critical sectors such as renewable energy. Building strategic partnerships between universities, industrial actors, and public institutions remain our surest way in ensuring that higher education is responsive to the needs of our economies. These collaborations will help align curricula with current market demands, promote applied research, and create pathways for students to transition seamlessly from education into employment, particularly in sectors that are critical to driving Africa's transformation. Of particular urgent attention is the stark gender disparity in science and technology, where women remain significantly underrepresented. It is imperative that academic institutions promote gender-inclusive policies and expand opportunities for women to thrive in these disciplines. In this regard, it is important to commend the African Centers of Excellence for its remarkable contribution to supporting women in STEM education. The program has made impressive strides in increasing female enrollment, offering targeted scholarships, mentorship initiatives, and building institutional cultures that recognize and respond to the unique challenges faced by women in scientific and technical careers. Equally critical is the continent's race to secure a place in the fourth industrial revolution, where digitalization, robotics, and AI are pivotal in reshaping economic development. The twin hurdles of shortage of advanced digital skills and prohibitive capital costs that stifle innovation in energy infrastructure and smart technologies still persist on our continent. Yet our continued research collaboration offers a way forward, enabling institutions to pool resources, to share expertise, and develop scalable AI and automation solutions tailored to our continent's needs. Through sustained academic engagement and coordinated investments, we can equip the next generation with the technical and entrepreneurial skill to harness these technologies, drive local innovation, and position Africa as a competitive force in the fourth industrial revolution. Ghana will remain firmly committed to deepening regional collaborations in higher education and research. We recognize and fully appreciate that the challenges of our time, whether in public health, in food security, climate resilience, or digital transformation, are too complex, costly, and knowledge-intensive to be tackled in national isolation. And that is why Ghana will continue to work hand in hand with our partners across the continent and beyond, offering the strength of our academic institutions, the ingenuity of our researchers, and the energy of our youth to advance our shared goals. We believe that by aligning our efforts and leveraging each other's expertise, we can accelerate progress in ways that no one single country can achieve alone. Our institutions bring to the table areas of clear strategic advantage, from coastal resilience and crop improvement to genetic medicine and renewable energy. We therefore stand ready to deepen these contributions within collaborative frameworks that prioritize results, innovation, and impact. As a country, we see ourselves not only as beneficiaries of partnership, but as active contributors to a collective vision for Africa's development. Together with you, our partners, Ghana is committed to shaping a future where excellence in education, research, and innovation is not bound by our national borders, but is driven by shared purpose and mutual strength. I wish you a very happy conference, and I thank you very much for your attention.